You can't go back and change the beginning, but you can start where you are and change the ending. That's a line from C.S. Lewis. And I have to tell you, folks, I've been through some pretty rough times. And I don't have to tell you, it doesn't matter if you're rich or poor, black or white, straight or gay. We all have those moments in life where we struggle. Today, I want to talk about mental health, my own journey with it, and how what I've learned might help a new generation facing their own battles. I had taken a summer job as a mate on a sailing ship, and after the freaking thing nearly sank, I didn't take the time to slow down. I went home to Boston and jumped right back into the real estate game. Usually, I felt like I was invincible. Who the hell doesn't in their early 20s? But something was off, and it was like I was living under a dark cloud. Every little thing set me off. Tenants not paying rent, properties needing repairs, deals falling apart. I felt totally out of control. My mind was all foggy, and even simple tasks took me 15 minutes. I dust my condo floors obsessively, as if scrubbing them could clean the anger out of my head. I snapped at people who didn't deserve it. I didn't know why I felt this way, and that confusion only made the rage worse. My buddy Wilmot was watching me fall apart, and thank God he did what needed to be done. He called my parents. I didn't want their help, but he saw what I couldn't. I was spiraling, fast. My parents took me home to the suburbs, and I stayed with them for a few days. The breaking point came at 3 in the morning. I climbed into my father's diesel sedan, pressed the gas to the floor, and drove straight into a telephone pole. I wasn't trying to die. Not exactly. It was a dramatic call for help. I walked home barefoot, punched through a window to get inside, and crawled back into bed like nothing had happened. When the police arrived, they took me to Westwood Lodge. That's where doctors told me I had bipolar disorder. The manic highs that made me believe I could build an empire overnight. Bipolar. The lows where anger and despair took over. Also bipolar. In a strange way, the diagnosis was a freaking relief. For the first time, I understood why my moods swung so wildly. But I also learned that there's no magic pill. The doctors gave me lithium and helped stabilize me, but it made me numb, like I was a zombie or something. I stopped taking it because I needed to feel again. I needed to rebuild my life intentionally. That meant therapy, accountability, humor, and, perhaps most importantly, movement. I started by running half a block, then a full block, then 2 blocks. I joined a gym. I reconnected with friends who loved me enough to set boundaries and call out my crap when I overdid it. Medication was a tool, but it wasn't the whole toolbox. We hear a lot about Gen Z's mental health crisis. A survey by Verywell Mind shows that 63% of Gen Z respondents described their mental health in the last month as less than good, compared with 52% of millennials, 49% of Gen X, and 28% of boomers. The reasons aren't trivial. Sleep problems, loneliness, financial worries, job stress, and the relentless noise of social media. Gen Z is also the first generation where a majority have worked with a mental health professional. They know the value of therapy, yet so many still feel overwhelmed. When I hear those numbers, I see myself dusting the floors and driving into that pole. Different circumstances, same feeling of drowning in an invisible storm. The big difference, Gen Z is talking about it. They're open to therapy and honest about their struggles. That openness is a gift, but it also means we need to share strategies that go beyond a bottle of pills. So, what helped me climb out of the abyss? First, I accepted that I couldn't do it alone. My friend Wilmot called my parents when I was spiraling. He didn't wait for me to ask for help. He saw the danger and acted. Gen Z, let your friends and family in. You are not a burden. You are loved. Second, I learned to balance medication with other tools. For me, that meant running, weight training, and horseback riding. Exercise literally changed my brain. It eased the fog and released the anger. Science backs this up. Movement increases endorphins and helps regulate mood. It's not a cure-all, but it's powerful. If you're struggling, start small. Walk around the block. Do 10 push-ups. Anything to remind your body that you're alive and capable. Third, humor and perspective. During my stay at Westwood Lodge, I laughed a lot. Not because what was happening was funny, but because finding humor in absurdity gave me room to breathe. My mother and father laughed with me when I told them about patients who hid pudding cups in their sleeves. Laughter didn't cure my bipolar disorder, but it reminded me I was human. Finally, accountability and self-reflection. Getting diagnosed forced me to look at my life. My relentless drive to prove something, my need for my father's approval, my impatience. I started making different choices. I slowed down. I listened. I accepted that getting knocked down 8 times meant getting up 9 times. Recovery wasn't linear. It still isn't, but it's possible. If you're part of Gen Z and feeling like you're drowning, here's what I hope you take from my story. You are not alone. If you're feeling anxious, depressed, or overwhelmed, it doesn't mean you're broken. Many of us have been there, and many of us made it out the other side. Therapy is a tool, not a weakness. Gen Z already recognizes this. Talking to someone who understands mental illness can be life-saving. Medication can help, but it's not the only solution. Work with a doctor to find what works for you. But don't overlook exercise, sleep, nutrition, and community. Those little things add up to a big shift. Let others in. My friend Wilmot saved my life by calling my parents. Sometimes we can't see our own struggles clearly. That's when we need someone else to hold up a mirror. Keep getting up. Recovery is messy. You might fall off the horse. Get back on. You might have to adjust your plans. I lost a multi-million-dollar deal while I was in the hospital. Life goes on, and you can still build something beautiful from the rubble. Mental health isn't a trend. It's a lifelong journey. Gen Z is facing challenges I never imagined, but they also have access to tools and conversations my generation didn't. Use them. Ask for help. Move your body. Laugh when you can. And remember, you can't change the beginning, but you can start where you are and change the ending. I'm living proof.